Well, hello everybody and welcome to Lunch Break Live, real talk about obesity, food addiction, recovery, and what's really eating you. I am Carrie Dela Cruz, here with you once again after a couple of days off for vacation, where I was a busy little bee, being one of Santa's elves. And I'm going to actually talk a little bit about that today on the show. I have entitled the show, It's Not Fair. Because, boy, during this time of year, if you deal with food addiction or you deal with obesity, it can feel like a war zone out there with all of the goodies that are not only available, but are being thrown at you. And sometimes it can feel like it's just not fair. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that today and give you my thoughts on the subject. Being someone who is going to be celebrating 3 years of abstinent recovery and sobriety from a whole host of foods on my list since December 30th. That will be 3 years on the 30th. I can tell you a thing or two. That doesn't mean I have all the answers. It doesn't mean I'm cured. It doesn't mean I know everything. It just means that I know what I know. And I'm going to share that with you because I have a feeling that you guys share the feeling. So anyway, here's what I'm calling this. It's not fair. Have you guys ever said that regarding your obesity or your food addiction? Show of hands, hearts, happy faces, sad faces, whatever. Ever said that? Waiting. Oh, Facebook Live should be called Facebook Lag. I'm just saying. So if you guys are responding, I'm not seeing it. Okay, there we go. I see a heart floating by. Have you ever said this? Okay, you ready? Why me? Why do I have to deal with this? Why can't I be like everybody else? Why is it so much harder for me during the holidays? Have you guys ever heard yourselves say no? I'm seeing lots of hearts going by. Absolutely. Well, I don't know about you, but sometimes it can feel like you're wandering through a minefield every time you just, I don't know, walk through the mall or even dare to enter the break room at work. It's like a minefield, right? You have to tippy-toe by everything because whether you look to the left or you look to the right, there's stacks and baskets and plates filled with all kinds of baked goodies, right? Yeah, I know I'm not alone here. All I know is when I came into work today after being gone for 2 days, I had, let's see, a secret box from Mrs. Fields cookies on my desk. And then my coworker, lovely that she is, gave me this, and that's a stack of my very, very favorite things in the whole entire world, chocolate chip cookies, homemade. And the interesting thing is, when she handed them to me, she said, I know you don't eat cookies, but I was thinking maybe someone like your husband or your daughter might really enjoy them, so here. So I don't blame her. I mean, she doesn't understand what's happening. She's being kind from the goodness of her heart. She's saying, this is something I made and this is something that I know people love, and I'm really at a loss for how to deal with you because I know you don't eat them, but I want you to know I'm thinking of you, right? Has this happened to any of you guys? Now, here's the interesting thing, okay? If I were an alcoholic and I were sober, I'm pretty sure no one would walk into my office with a bottle of wine and say, I know you don't drink, but I'm sure someone in your life does, right? They just wouldn't do that because it's an understanding. Or if they did hand it to me and I said, oh, you know what, I don't drink, I'm, in AA, they'd go, oh, whoa, sorry. And they'd take it back, right? But food addiction is a funny thing. People don't really know what to do. They don't know what to think. They don't understand. They think it's just a matter of, oh, well, just don't eat it. Like when you're on a diet, oh, well, just don't eat it. They don't understand what it triggers in an addict to hand them, baked cookies, right? To have those smells around, the sensations. They don't understand what they're doing. And it's not their job to understand, by the way. But I want you to know why it is, maybe why it feels so much more challenging, why we say it's not fair. Well, let's put that in the mix, okay? It's not fair because other people don't understand. And ironically, it's not their job to understand. But they do make it harder, don't they? All right. No, I'm not going to eat those cookies. And yeah, I'll bring them home to the family and throw them into the mix and whatever. And I'm sure they'll enjoy them a lot. All right. It's just not an option for me. All right. But back to my notes here. Let's see here. During this time of year, pretty much whatever gift I get from a vendor or a thoughtful, friend is edible. I don't know. I mean, it's just because probably because, you can cook a whole bunch of things all at once, wrap them up and give them away. And voila, you've handled a whole bunch of gifts all at once. And tis the season, right? It's the time of year. People do edible gifts. They don't give lotion, as a rule. So it's kind of tricky. All right. But they give things like I wrote here, cookies, fudge, candy, popcorn, you name it, right? It all taunts me, right? It is screaming at me. More importantly, it is lying to me. That is what I wrote here. That food lies to me. And you know what it says? Want to know what the food says to me? Here's what it sounds like. Excuse me, I have a runny nose today. It says, you can have just one and then give the rest away. Just one. Come on. It's the season and they baked it just for you. They had you in mind and they wanted you to know they were thinking of you. It's only once a year. It's not like you do this all the time, right? Come on, what is the big deal? It's just not Christmas without chocolate chip cookies. It's just not. What is the big deal? That's what New Year's resolutions are for. Ever said those things? Yeah, that's what the food says to me. It whispers those lies. And I guarantee you, just because I am, abstinent from a bunch of things on my list, doesn't mean that the food stops lying to me. It doesn't mean that I still don't feel all of the emotions and all of the desires that I always felt before. None of that changes. Recovery doesn't change that. What it does is it tells me that there's something more important than those things. There's something more important than chocolate chip cookies, and that is peace and freedom and no longer being imprisoned. That's what recovery means. It doesn't mean you stop craving things. Okay, sure. Over time, the cravings are less strong on a daily basis, okay? In other words, like in the beginning, I thought about it all the time and just had to keep telling myself, no, 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 no. That's how it looked, right? But, excuse me, hold on. Sorry, my nose is cold. It's just so freaking cold in California. It was 42 degrees this morning. All right. In the very beginning, I would just say like, no, 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 no. And now I don't have to do that all the time. It's just a pat, it's a standing no, whether I say it or not. It's just not an option. And here's what I do and have done for the last 3 years. When the food lies to me like that, I stick to my resolve and I say, no, thank you. Now, I do not say, now this is important, okay? This is what I've learned. I don't say I don't want any, because I do. And I don't say I can't have any, because I can. And I don't say it doesn't look, taste, or smell good, because it does. And I won't ever say that I don't miss it, because you know what? Sometimes I just really do. Because those treats are inexorably linked to the holidays. That's why they happen at this time of year, and they represent things like love and memories and togetherness and warmth and comfort and all of these things that we all desperately want to feel during the holidays. But you see, the food is not those things. It's just what we have connected with those feelings. We could still have those feelings without the food, but we believe that the only way to get those feelings is to eat that food. But I'm here to tell you, for the past 3 years, I've still had those feelings and I haven't had the food, okay? So I'm living proof. Anyway, so yeah, there are times where I miss it and I talk to the food and I go, yep, I remember you. You tasted really good and I loved you a lot. And yeah, I do miss the idea of you sometimes. But that's where the little voice digs deeper, my little voice that speaks back to the food, right? And it doesn't stop the addiction. Okay, it doesn't stop the addiction from trying another angle with me, right? So if I'm sticking to my resolve and I'm going, no, 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 not going to happen, not an option, da, da, da. Here's what happens. That little voice digs a little deeper and goes, but it's not fair. It's just not fair. I mean, everybody else is having some, and look, you don't get to. You're all alone. Why should you suffer? Gosh, you poor thing. That's what the addiction does, right? And then I tell my addiction, shut up, and stop lying to me. It's not true. It's just not true. And you know what? I ain't buying it. So shut up. That's what I do. I double down. All right. It doesn't stop the addiction from trying, but boy, at some point, once I show up and I tell it who's boss, that's it. It's just, it stops whispering. It stops lying. It stops yelling. It stops mattering. You know, it really, really does. Here's the thing. I realized this morning. It's not fair. According to whom? According to whom? It's not fair. Think about that for a minute. I'm the one that made my own rules about my abstinence. So how can it not be fair if I made the rules? Right? When you think about it, it's not fair. Well, then either change the rules or change your definition of fairness. That's what I think, right? How could it not be fair? How could being sober and being free from food not be fair? It makes you wonder, what's so unfair about not regretting something I didn't eat? Nothing. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I have never regretted not eating something ever, ever, ever. There's nothing unfair about that. Okay, but it's still not easy. And I get that. I get that. It's like, sometimes it's like a ping pong match, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like, I get it. No, but I want, but no, and back and forth. Okay, let me just tell you my little story about this weekend. All right, number one, I was a baker. All right. In my former life, I was a baker, a damn good one. Okay, why? Because I hand mixed all my ingredients and I never used a mixer, nothing electronic. It was always a wooden spoon, a little elbow grease in there. And I always carefully measured, heavily packed my brown sugar. And I absolutely measured everything. I didn't take any risks with anything except chocolate chips. Now, that is why I was such a good baker, is because I poured my heart and soul into it and I loved it and I followed the rules and all of this stuff, right? Well, after I had gastric bypass surgery, I learned that baking was just a little too much for me. It presented unnecessary challenges for me. And so I chose to set it aside. Now, my daughter picked up the mantle as family baker, and she's remarkable. I mean, she is like a baker on steroids, okay? The stuff that she makes is ridiculously good. But I don't know how it tastes, at least not for the last 3 years. But that doesn't mean she doesn't bake. And so what happened while I was on my vacation for the last 4 days, let's see, 2 of those days, Hannah baked. And I am talking, cranberry bread, banana bread, zucchini bread, with walnuts and with, and I know I'm making your mouth water. I get it. This is like crack. This is like drug talk, alcohol talk. I get it. The point is, it smelled so good. It smelled so good. The whole entire house smelled like it. And Hannah would walk in with the beaters and, offer them to Juan to lick off, or she'd walk in, mix in the bowl, and she would be taking fingers full and the whole thing. And I mean, it was this experience that I couldn't be a part of, right? I couldn't be a part. And there was this little voice in me saying, it's not fair. I don't get to do that. That's not fair. But I realized that if I hung out in that place, I would want it more. But if I kicked that feeling to the curb and said, what do you mean it's not fair? Get over yourself, Carrie. Just get over it. You've had enough of that for a lifetime. You had that 1,000,000 times. And 1,000,001 times, you regretted it because you overdid it. Because you baked one batch of chocolate chip cookies and you ate the other one raw. Man, I don't regret that, you guys. I don't regret licking the beaters. And so I set about making Christmas gifts for people with candy. Little, Hershey's Kisses and peppermint patties and all of my favorite things. And in the past, if one dropped, I would have eaten it because that would have been mine, right? And when I was making little jars of peppermint hot cocoa, the mason jars, and filling it with the chocolate chips and the crushed peppermint candy, in the past, I would have licked my fingers. But no, because I realized, no, my rules of my sobriety dictate that, no, there will be no fingers full because those are the behaviors that led me to overdo it. And so I held a strong line. So this weekend, it was challenging. And I had to step up my game. I mean, I had to double down on my decision to remain sober, if for no other reason than to say, are you freaking kidding me? You really think you want to throw away 3 years of sobriety on that beater? Are you kidding me? On that cookie? Heck no. No way. When I put it in that perspective, no way. Not gonna do it. But it was a decision that I had to make. Okay, I had to show up and I had to make that decision. All right, let's see here. Where am I on my little list of things I wanted to talk about? My list. I know where the things on my list lead every single time. I have, years and years and years of empirical evidence that says when I start this, I don't stop that, ever. And that leads to this, and that leads to that. So my list, a lot of people want me to talk about my list. Well, here's the thing. My list has given me certitude that I've never had about anything in my life. And that's priceless, you guys. Certitude. Certitude that if I eat something on my list, I will keep eating it. And certitude that if I don't start, I don't have to worry about stopping. And that is priceless, you guys. That is a precious, precious gift. All right, let's talk about the list. The why, the what, the how. All right, might work for you. My list began with one item. It was a broad category of items, really, because I knew that my downfall was baked goods of any sort. If they were soft, if they were squishy, if they were melty, if they were gooey, baked goods. And so it was that I set about making my food sobriety list on the computer because I needed it in black and white, not in my head, because if it's in my head, it's amazing what I can forget, right? Oh, no, that's not on the list, or that's not exactly on the list, or, I said chocolate chip cookies were on the list, not peanut butter chip cookies. Yeah, right, okay? All cookies. I love this one. Banana bread. It has the word bread in it. I mean, that's healthy, right? It's not like a banana cake. Somebody actually said that. No, banana bread is banana cake. All right. It's got loads of sugar in it, not counting the bananas. All right. So just because it has fruit doesn't mean it's healthy. All right. All baked goods, all breads of any variety or of any sort. Yes, even the flat ones. Okay. So all breads, all candies, even the ones I hate because I would always find a way to like them, all candies. So all baked goods and all breads and all candies. And over time, this list has grown, you guys. Potatoes, French fries, potato chips. Speaking of chips, all chips, because I know where those lead, right? Bet you can't eat just one bag, okay? Got it? So my list, pasta, rice, all of the things that will lead down the path to a binge are on my list. It may work for you, but you have to honor that list. Your word has to mean something to yourself. If you say you're going on the list and you're not an option, I will not transgress, it's the list, all right? It's out there where you say, I respect the list, I'm not going to do it. That's what I did. That's what I created in black and white was my very own list. And you guys may choose to do that yourself. And your list is going to look entirely different from my list. And I will tell you, things never come off the list. Once they go on the list, they stay on the list. There's a reason they're on the list, okay? Sometimes I have gray area things that I flirt with, and I'm like, and I'll talk to it and go, careful. If you're not careful, you're going on the list, and then you will never be had again, all right? Is that what you want? I talk to it like it's a kid. So, yeah. But once it's on the list, never, ever, ever comes off the list, all right? But it is an evolution, and I will find that when I get that feeling about something where I start thinking about it and when is the next time I can have that thing, that's when I start to realize, danger, danger. All right, that's an addictive feeling. And it doesn't matter if it's pocket lint that I'm excited about and looking forward to, and I'm going to go hang out in the closet and clean out all the pockets for pocket lint, whatever it is. If it gets my motors running, then I go, whoa, caution. All right, don't go there. Because if you go there, you're going on the list. And that's how that works. And sometimes it goes on the list. All right. So here's the thing. Far from being powerless, I am powerful. I am not powerless over food. I am powerful about the things that I have chosen to put on my list. Fair and square. So there's nothing unfair about it. Challenging? Heck yes. Heck yes. But it is no one's responsibility but yours to work your sobriety, to create the framework or the guidelines, the foundation for your own sobriety. It's no one else's decision. It's no one else's responsibility. And I got to tell you something. In the past, I would say, can you not make it harder on me? Can you keep that away from you? Can you not bring that in? Can you not bring that into the house, honey? Can you not eat that in front of me? Then I realized, you know what? That's creating an artificial environment because that's not real world. Real world says my husband is not a food addict and that he has a right, and it's up to him whether he wants to eat something in front of me or not. It's up to him to say, babe, you know what, I'm choosing not to have this because I know that can create a struggle for you and I don't want that for you. That's up to him. It's not up to me to say, don't bring it in the house. That's artificial. Now look, I get it, right? If you're an alcoholic, you don't go to a bar. Well, if you're a food addict, don't be walking into a bakery. Okay, don't be going to the donut shop. Don't be going down the aisle in the grocery store that you know the smells from the fresh bread. You know, if you walk into a Subway and there's fresh bread and that creates a problem for you, then don't do that. Okay, whatever that is, you can manage your own structure. And that's not being unreasonable, but when you put it on somebody else to do, when you put it on someone else to enforce your sobriety and your recovery, that's when you're going to have a problem, okay? So internalize this, make this your own. You don't need to answer to anybody that way. You don't owe anyone an explanation. It's your own recovery. It's your own abstinence, all right? So I just wanted you guys to know, I want to encourage you by telling you I get it. I understand the feelings. Oh, do I understand those feelings of it's not fair. When will this end? Make it stop. Why does this have to happen? But those things don't lead to healthy feelings and they don't lead to healthy behaviors. So better to say, you know what? I didn't make those rules, okay? It is what it is. You guys go eat what you're going to eat, celebrate around the food, enjoy it. I'm not going to take that away from you, but I choose not to do that. I choose not to tie my own happiness to that food, all right? I don't get happier just because food is presented to me, all right? Likewise, there's no reason for me to get sad just because food is presented to me. So while understanding that food addiction is tricky business, all right, because society doesn't quite know what to do with it, it's really not up to others to help you to be sober and abstinent. It's up to you to do that. And people are teachable and they'll learn. They'll begin to learn, oh gosh, I know better than to offer that to you because that's just not very kind of me to do. They'll know what to do. And you know what? Maybe next year my coworker, instead of a stack of cookies, she'll give me a little thing of lotion. Regardless, I know she cared. She didn't have to give me anything, did she? So that's it. I'm going to look. I saw a lot of comments flying by, and I just want to encourage you guys, start today. Don't wait till after Christmas. Don't wait till after the holidays. Don't wait till the new year to decide what you're going to do. Do it right now, today, this moment. As soon as we hang up, as soon as I'm done, start your list. Just start your list. It all starts with one item, but respect it. Because in respecting the list, you're respecting yourself and you're respecting your own recovery. Okay, guys? All right, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and take a gander at what you guys are chattering about. And I know addiction it makes people talk. It's big, big stuff. Oh, Mom, all right, yay, I'm so glad you're here. The Time Warner guy came and went. All right, right on. Okay, let's see here. It's not their job to understand, Marie says. That's right. That's right. And if they do and they can support you, and they're willing to be educated, then educate them in a way that says, you don't have to understand my addiction, but if you could just support me in my recovery, I'd really, really appreciate it. And yes, the goodies do lie. Absolutely. Do they taste good? Sure they do. But do they lead to a path of peace and serenity, or do they lead to imprisonment to food? We all know where that goes, and I don't want any part of it. I want to be free. All right, let's see here. Marie, heart and soul baker, making my special mini Xmas cakes are proving to be very hard. Fell straight off the wagon and dived head first into that condensed milk cake. Craved one mini after the other, woke up this morning with new resolve, and then see your post as always. Okay, you know what? Don't bake. It doesn't make you less of a person if you don't bake. Find other ways to show your love, Marie. You don't need to do this, all right? That's like making mixed drinks for people if you're an alcoholic, all right? Yeah, my grandpa did have a full, booze cabinet over his refrigerator, and he served mixed drinks to people all the time, okay? He did that. But you don't have to do that. You do not have to be a baker. You set your own guidelines and your own rules of recovery. And you know what? Maybe down the road someday you can bake, but I just think if it even opens the door a crack to a binge or to a slip, don't do it. You don't need to do it. Nobody is going to miss your Christmas cookies, all right? They're not so special that they're worthy of your slip, They're just not. There are other ways to show your love. I want to encourage you on that, not because I don't think your Xmas cookies are just amazing and wonderful, but because it hurts you more than it helps others. That's what I think. But I'm so very proud of you for having the resolve to say, you know what? No, enough of that, setting it aside, getting back on the wagon, getting myself straight. So let's see. Ban yourself from bakery. Just can't be trusted to make a good choice there. Yep. So you know how to avoid. Yeah, exactly. You know what? The best way to avoid them is to avoid them. That sounds really crazy. Okay, some foods create a happy in me. Right. What we have to do is we have to, as addicts, I think, break apart the emotion and the food, because we crave that emotion, we crave that feeling, therefore we crave that food. If we can find other ways to where we can have the memory, okay? Have the memory, enjoy the memory, but break it apart from the food and say that memory exists exclusive of the food, and there are other ways for me to find to be happy. Doing for others is a really, really great way to do that. I mean, you know what? I was at Walmart the other day, and I was in the checkout, and I saw this little sign that says you can buy glasses for someone like a kid who needs them, right? And they have all these cute styles, and they start as low as $56. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a wonderful way to give, to just buy glasses stylish glasses for a kid that couldn't afford them. Wow, that creates a happy that no chocolate chip cookie ever could touch. Oh my gosh, the joy of knowing that some little girl's gonna wear pink glasses. Ah, I love it. Way better than chocolate chip cookies, you guys. I mean it, way better. So that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go, and just know, look, we have wonderful, wonderful memories around food, many of us, okay? But we have an equal, if not greater number of miseries around food, you guys. So much misery. I think it's a factor of 10 to 1, right? 10 bad to 1 good memory. And if we're constantly chasing that good memory by following it up with foods that always led to bad memories, then I think we're missing the point of the memory. I think let's go for the memory instead of the food. You know, let's go for the good instead of that pain, and trying to avoid the pain by, it's like getting snake bit, right? You're like, oh, well, if I get bitten by that snake, then I'll build up an immunity over time to the venom, and you're not going to build up an immunity to chocolate chip cookies. You're just not. So don't do it, okay? I promise. Let's build some happy, good, solid memories that have nothing to do with food, because I guarantee you, then you can have those memories anytime you want, year round, and you don't even have to have like Christmas-shaped cookies around it to have the memory. That seems way more liberating and free to me. What about you guys? So I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being here and tolerating my cold, drippy nose today. And I look forward to joining you guys again for the rest of the week as I'm available. And let's talk some more. If there's something you guys want to talk about, put it on the wall here. Let me know. Give me a sense of the things that you guys are dealing with, the things that you're struggling with, the thoughts that you're having. Let's talk about it, because I guarantee you, if you're thinking them, I'm probably thinking them too. And you and I are not alone there, that a lot of other people are thinking them. So let's put it out there. Be brave, be courageous. And that's it. I'm going to sign off for now, because I've gone quite long enough. So I'm going to encourage you guys to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, live your sober recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. Take care, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.